All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Largo HQ. I'm James Hunt. I'm the Deputy Director of Operations here with the Planning Department, and I wanted to take an opportunity to welcome each and every one of you to our Largo headquarters facilities today. This is our first brown bag session that we've had. We're going to have a slew of sessions going on. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Here with us today, we have our senior management team, and our goal here is to go over the details of our organizational structure here within the planning department, because we realize that there, whenever our development community, our applicants, whomever, reach out to us, we want to make sure they have the proper folks to reach out to, number one. Number two, if you're having any concerns that are out there, we want to make sure you raise those concerns to the proper staff members. So we have our team over here to the left, who is our senior management team. You can wave your hands real quick. There we go. All right. And also with us today, like I said, we have Lakeisha Hull, who's our planning director. Hey. All right. And just to kind of go over everyone on the senior management team, we have Sherry Connor, who's over development review. And we have Katina Schollers over countywide planning. There we go. For Queen Wave, yes. And then we also have Tony Phelps, who's over community planning. Jim Knisher over information management. And then last but definitely not least, who keeps us all together, we have Alicia Alexander, who is over our management services division. All right, so as you know, we have to go through a few housekeeping points for today to make sure you're comfortable. If you need to use the restrooms, you pass the restrooms on the way in. They're down the hallway to the left. In addition, each of you should have received or seen a copy of the Wi-Fi link, as well as, the password that goes with the Wi-Fi, so you have access to that as well. There are snacks in the back of the room. Please feel free to get up at any point in time. They'll get you something to eat as well. Lisa Kelly, there's Lisa right there. I want to make sure each of you provide her your contact information, because it's really important we stay in touch with you. As we proceed with these brown bag sessions, we have those set up for the remainder of the year, but I want to make sure you all are aware of the different sessions that we have and the topics of those sessions. Also, to get any feedback or anything like that, you all can provide that to Lisa as well. Before I turn it over to our planning director, I'd like to point out to you, like I said, this will be the first series of the sessions that we have coming up. The next session that we have will be based upon, in October, it will be based upon getting feedback from you all as far as what you want information on from us, so what those sessions to be later on. We're going to start those, having those sessions probably around January of next year, and going all the way to June. So we really need your feedback as far as what you want to talk about as a part of those sessions. Next, we're going to also be talking about the woodland conservation ordinance later on this year. We know there's recent updates to that, and we've been out to MBIA and other groups and heard a lot of feedback. People want to get clarification on that, so I want to make sure we provide that to you all as far as what we know as well. And then also there's going to be a topic, obviously, on zoning and subdivision. This is going to be Zoning and Subdivision 101. We're planning to have that topic in November. We are aware of the information regarding CB15. We're going to have a separate session on that eventually, but right now it's going to be basically on the basics of, like I said, zoning and subdivision. So that's it. I'd like to turn it over to our planning director.
The host is on mute.
Thank you, James. Good afternoon. Hello again. My name is Lakeisha Hull. For those that don't know me, I've been in this role 8 months, you guys, and so I'm almost into my 3rd season here in Prince George's County. Super excited to be here. So Brown Bag Series is something that the industries really understand: construction, design industry, architecture. So our job is to have a very casual conversation with everyone, with our leaders, with the people that work a lot on your projects, with people that work on the legislation. That's the purpose of this series. We've heard a lot of feedback of how can we be more transparent and open with the community. So I do want to acknowledge others that might be here as well. Anyone from the chairman's office, I think his chief of staff is here, and also the communication specialist is here. So we're also going to publicize what we're doing on social media. We really want to make sure that these sessions are very informative and engaging. We also want to make sure you guys feel that you're part of the process as we're learning more about what is making sense in the development review process. Is there anyone from the council office in here as well? Okay, so you guys are a very, very special group of people because we had a late wait list. We have some folks online, and so just to let you know, these sessions are going to fill up very quickly. This session filled up within 2 hours. So as soon as you see that email, first come, first serve. So it's really important that you guys jump on these sessions and you show up. And so if you notice, we're in our wonderful Largo headquarters location. We really want people, those online as well, if you can come here, and it's an awesome facility. We have an auditorium that will be opening up soon. We have great outdoor spaces, so we really want you guys to feel comfortable coming here and engaging with us. So with that, I think we have an icebreaker. So we're gonna warm you guys up a little bit, and so I'll turn it over to Natalia. You can come on over and go over some quick poll questions. We wanna make sure you guys have time to ask us questions as well, but we wanna do some icebreakers up front. Here you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. That's better. This is an icebreaker, so we want to see you more engaged and smiling more, maybe. All right, so I'm gonna do a quick couple of questions. I just want you to guys raise your hand if you think this applies to you. If not, don't worry about it. First, yes.
Thank you.
No, I don't need it.
Okay.
So, okay, first, raise your hand if you are alone in this conference today. If you came alone. Okay, I see you have folks next to you. You can probably have a quick bite and talk after this. If you have comments, you can share between you and then let us know. We will appreciate. There are index cards that you can fill out with your questions. Okay, next question, really quick. Raise your hand if you have lived in Prince George County for the last 10 years. Okay. Who has lived for the past 5 years? Raise your hand. Okay. So I assume the rest of the people have lived more than 10 years?
Or maybe not.
Or maybe you live in DC or Virginia? No, only me? All right, so have you worked with the planning department before? Raise your hand. Now, have you worked for the department before? I see one. Okay, welcome back. All right, that's it. Thank you, guys. I hope I didn't bore you at all. I was just warming you up for what is coming next. And welcome again. Thank you.
Wonderful job. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna go through some of these slides. And so what we wanna do is make sure you guys understand that there's a lot of message that we have to put out there before you guys can get into our wonderful leaders. And so as part of our commission, as you guys are probably familiar, we have Montgomery County and Prince George's County. So in Prince George's County, we have Planning Department, which I lead, and then we have Park and Recreation, which Director Tyler leads. And so with the two departments together, we make up the Prince George's County side. In regards to Montgomery County, they have the same situation, except they don't have a recreation component with their Parks Department. So my colleague in Montgomery County, the planning director, is working with the parks director over there. And so then the breakdown of the commission, you have the planning boards, respectfully, that come together to vote on a lot of your projects that are submitted. And then we also have finance and other type of arms to the commission. So in regards to Prince George's County Planning Board, we have 5 wonderful people that serve, and they're able to pretty much engage with the planning process before it gets to our district council and to our county council. And so all of this information we'll provide after this session, but these are our current planning board members. And now I'm going to turn it over to James to go over the planning department and our strategic direction, which we have the 4 Ps. And so I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the session. So I'll turn over to James to finish.
All right, so briefly, I want to, like she said, go over the full department itself. Of course, we have, at the top, we have our planning director, Lakeisha Hull. Within the planning director's office, there's myself as deputy director of operations. You have 2 sides. There's an operations side and there's an administration side. The operations side is pretty much what you all see a lot of times, who you're dealing with a lot of the times. So you're dealing with development review, countywide planning when it comes to, let's say, transportation, environmental, historic preservation, as well as special projects when it comes to those mandatory referrals that are out there. In addition, you're also talking with community planning on that side as well when it comes to those master plans and sector plans that are out there and the development review of those plans. So that's all under the operations side of the department. Also, we have the administrative side of the department. That's where we find, more so of our informational management, the IT functions of the department, as well as the management services. So that backbone of the department, working on facilities management, working on the publications, the web team, all that. So all those folks are on the administrative side of the department. What the 4 Ps, the director mentioned 4 Ps a few moments ago. These are the four items within the strategic plan that our department has. The first one here is people. That's number 1. The people, they are key to providing the technical support of the work programs that we actually have and we're implementing here within the planning department. Also, projects. Okay, that's what we do here. We're looking at projects all the time. That's what you all are here for. You're doing projects. So it's critical that we're reviewing these projects and we understand the importance of these projects within Prince George's County and how to streamline these various processes associated with them as well. Placemaking. We have to create places, special places for all of Prince Georgians. So as a part of that process, we have a team dedicated and understanding that it's critical to the overall success of Prince George's County. And last but not least, which is another reason why you're here today, is a partnership. We want to make sure we create and maintain those various partnerships throughout the development process. It's critical. We got to have it no matter what. And it's no matter where you are in government, local, state, federal, you got to have those partnerships to get any of these various initiatives across, okay? But your initiatives on the private side as well as on this side as well. All right, so within our work program, we have 2 different sides within our work program that we're really looking at. So we're talking about long-range planning and the visioning within Prince George's County. Within that, we're talking about transportation projects, environmental protection, economic development, as well as parks and recreation and other priorities within Prince George's County as well. So these are critical to all types of long-range planning that we're implementing here within the planning department. Also, to review and provide recommendations on those development projects. So those are critical as well. So we're looking at various residential, commercial, and mixed-use projects and how to better implement the health, safety, and welfare, and to associate those items to health, safety, and welfare within Prince George's County, and also within the public interest of the county citizens as well. Within the planning director's office, we talked about this earlier, we have the planning director, obviously, Lakeisha Hull, myself over operations, and then Suzanne Kings, who is the deputy director over the administration side. Next, I want to go into development review, which I'll introduce Sherry Connor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome once again. I'm Sherry Connor. I'm the acting chief for development review. Within development review, we have 7 sections, and this is probably the division that you all will interact with the most because within it we have our planning information services, which is really our first point of contact for general inquiries. We do zoning certification letters. We get lots of questions about what is my property zone, what's the uses that are permitted. So that is our central repository for all general inquiries. Then we have our applications section, and that is really our intake for development review applications that we are getting from the development community. So that's going to include your subdivision plans, your zoning applications, your site plans, all of those things. So again, everything that comes into the department for an application is directed to applications section. Then we have our permit review section. Now, permit review, we have staff both in DPI and at our building here at Largo headquarters. And that's because DPI is the permitting agency. They are the permitting authority, but we work very closely with them to provide the review of permits for conformance to the zoning ordinance, to the subdivision regulations, to woodland conservation ordinance. So the permits actually come in at DPI, and then DPI refers them to our department. And they are assigned to a lead permit reviewer in our permit review section. From there, the permits are distributed throughout our department to the various expertise of environmental, transportation, subdivision, all holding a part in that permit review and submitting those comments back to finally be completed by our lead permit reviewer in the permit section before it goes back to DPI. We do have an administrative support section in development review, and this is kind of our behind the scenes staff. They don't often communicate with the general public or applicants, but they do provide critical support to development review. They are assisting me as well as all of our planners. They coordinate with our web team. They post our agendas. They keep us organized. So critical function. Then, of course, we have our review sections, which is primarily when applications come in. After they go through the application section, they'll either be reviewed by zoning, urban design, or subdivision. So zoning does all of our application review for rezonings, for special exceptions, for standalone departures, things like that. Urban design is going to be hold our lead reviewers for detailed site plans, conceptual site plans, specific design plans, comprehensive design plans in LCD zones. And then we have subdivision, which is going to be your preliminary plans, your final plats of subdivision, vacation petitions, sketch plans, all things subdivision. So your primary point of contact, if you have an application in the department, will be your lead reviewer once an application is accepted and in process. So that's very important. Really want the development community as well as the general public to understand who you can directly reach out to in our department when you're looking for information. So applications in process, you will have a lead reviewer, and that will be your primary point of contact. If you're looking for general information, reach out to our planning information services section. And if you have an application that you're trying to submit or get processed, our application section will be that good point of contact for you. And of course, all of this information is available on our website, pgplanning.org. We do have all of the contacts that I've mentioned there, as well as a journal number for our planning information services, and then links to online forms that you can fill out to receive information, request zoning certification letters, also request your application numbers. If you're looking to file a zoning, urban design, or subdivision application, again, we have that online application form, pre-application form, where you can go ahead and start that process online. So thank you very much. Next up, we have countywide planning. So I'm going to introduce Katina Scholars.
Good afternoon. Happy to see everyone. My name is Katina Scholars. I'm the Division Chief of Countywide Planning. This division covers matters that affect the entire county. We are comprised of 4 sections. Environmental planning, they look at the natural resources of the county. We're talking streams, we're talking wetlands, floodplains, soils, and as well as tree protection. As you know, the county has its own local forest conservation program, and the most recent update to that was adopted earlier this year, became effective July 1st, but we will get into that at a later brown bag. We also have our transportation planning section, who looks at how development impacts not only just traffic, but we also look at the needs of other multimodal, other modes of transportation, bike accessibility, trails. We want to make sure people that don't drive can have access to other modes to get around the county. We have our special project section, who we also refer to as public facilities. They focus on public services, such as they look at how development impacts will be affected by police services, schools, and fire. Also, we look at water and sewer as well. In addition, this section focuses on the mandatory referrals. They review those and in some cases take those to the board. And mostly mandatory referrals are typically large utility projects or things like solar or public buildings. So it could be something like a municipal project. Those will come through that mandatory referral process and give the public the opportunity to comment. So these sections, they provide technical support to both the Development Review Division and the Community Planning Division, which you will hear from later, on these different subject matters as well. So if a project comes in, it is referred to us and we will do the transportation review, the environmental review, public facilities review, and historic preservation, our wonderful historic preservation section, which focuses on historic sites around the county, but they also look for new historic sites or historic features, which some properties do have when they come in for development. And in some cases, they may have to do an archaeological dig as part of that review. So in addition to providing the technical support on the subject matter, they also attend public hearings as needed, whether it's from the planning board or our district council. For community planning, we serve as a resource as they are developing master plans or during sectional map amendments. In addition to these duties, these sections also review standalone applications that are directly submitted to them. So for development review cases, they do not come directly to us. They are submitted to the Development Review Division, as Sherry explained, and then they are funneled to us. So if you do have a case, it is important that you contact the lead planner who is with the Development Review Division before contacting the planner on the subject matter in countywide planning, because it's important that we all work together and we're on the same page, and we want to funnel that information through that lead reviewer so that we are all abreast of any changes or any discussions that are happening as part of a case. So some of the standalone applications that we do are tree conservation plans that are not part of an entitlement case. As I've said before, mandatory referrals. There are also scoping agreements, which we do. This is a preliminary step to development review cases that come directly to us because we want to understand the study area for our transportation review of what goes into what we call a transportation study. And that's a later ground back session way down the road. That's going to take a long time to prepare. We also are responsible for preparing and updating functional master plans. These master plans consist of the resource conservation plan. That's where you'll find your green infrastructure plan. The master plan of transportation, which is currently being updated. Look for Go Prince George's next year, guys. And we also have a public facilities plan as well. So if you have standalone applications or you have a general question about one of these subject matters, you can contact each of the appropriate section in there, and our contact information is on the web. You can also find out once you submit in one of those applications by contacting those numbers who actually got assigned, and we will point you in the direction to the appropriate planner. We have an administrative staff of 3. We also have project managers as well that work on the zoning, that have worked on the zoning ordinance, but yay, the zoning ordinance is done.
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Okay, it's
Yes.
done. So that's where we are, and of course, if you do have anything for me, you may reach out to me, but I really encourage you to reach out to the appropriate staff person that is working on the matter of your concern. That's it, and now I will turn it over to Mr. Tony Feltz of the Community Planning Division.
Good afternoon, how are y'all? Come on, good afternoon. Don't make me make y'all stand up and do some jumping jacks. I know it's lunchtime, but y'all hadn't ate yet, so we don't have food comas, right? Well, again, I'm Tony Feltz. I'm the division chief for community planning. And what I like to say about my division is we go outside. We're out in the community, meeting the folks in Prince George's County and understanding what the community wants for a vision for Prince George's County. And we're guided by Plan 2035. And on that note, if any of you guys are free on Saturday, September 14th between 12 and 4, and you find yourself in the area of Forestville Mall, we've got our Play on the Pike event. It is a partnership with the Marlboro Pike Partnership. We're going to have VR displays showing what the future of the Marlboro Pike corridor could look like. It's going to be really cool. We're going to be activating some underutilized parking out there, and we're also going to have DJs and dancing. So if you find yourself out there, we're in the St. Paul Town Center parking lot. That's on Marlboro Pike, just west of Forestville Mall. So if you find yourself out there, tell all your friends and neighbors. It's going to be a fun time. So you may be asking yourself, well, what does that mean? You know, they got this loud guy up here talking about being out in the community. Well, we've got 4 sections in community planning, and 2 of them do basically the same thing with just a different name. Long-range planning and master plans and studies. These are the guys that actually take the community's voice and translate that into an actionable plan to guide development in Prince George's County. We've also got our placemaking section. Those are the guys that are responsible for events like our Play on the Pike event. And basically what they do is they work with partners around the county to identify underutilized spaces in the county where we can go and we can make it a place. You know, sometimes you hear that saying, we planners like to say, there's no there. You know, you may have a mall, you may have a shopping center, but you know, it's just a random collection of shops and people only really go there because they need to go shopping or they need to buy their groceries. But what's really drawing them there? So we're trying to make places active, we're trying to make places unique, and we're trying to make those places throughout the county and Prince George's County. And then we also have our neighborhood revitalization team. These are kind of boots on the ground implementation planners. They partner with our municipalities, our unincorporated communities throughout the county to try to do specialized studies, things like wayfinding and branding, things like street beautification. Really any number of things. We're going to have a grant writing workshop coming up very soon with the city of College Park. These folks are doing boots on the ground planning work. It's really exciting. And I'm super proud of my team. But I know you guys are industry people and you guys are super important because you guys are building what our plans envision. And that's so important to us. So with that, you know, the county does require conformance with our master and sector plans. And so I know a lot of you guys have seen some kind of up referrals from my division. And so what we're doing is we're really taking a strong, hard look at all of these development projects and really seeing, do they conform with the master plan? Where can we look at design excellence? And you know, there's a lot of times our plans are aspirational. And we know we try to do our best. So what I want you guys to take away from is if you ever have any question, if you're ever, you know, in the starting stages, getting ready to start a plan, reach out to us, reach out to our area planner. I think I've got another slide here. Yeah. You guys are familiar with PG Atlas? Most of you guys? So we actually have a layer on PG Atlas. It's in the administrative, what is it called? Y'all, I'm getting old, I can't see anymore. It's the administrative, and it's called CPD Planner Responsibilities. So you can go to your property, open up that layer, click on there, and it'll tell you the name and contact information for the community planner that's assigned to that geographic area. And it's always welcome for you to reach out to us, have a conversation, ask what the plan is looking for. It may save you some time down the road when it gets to actual submittals. And then once you get your referrals, you know, maybe that evil, mean community planner put some stuff in there that you guys don't really like. That's fine. We're happy to talk it out and work it out. If you don't get where you want to go with the community planner that's assigned to that division, we have a referral coordinator. His name is Andrew Bishop. He's with community planning now. He used to be with development review, so he knows kind of both sides of the process. So feel free to reach out to him really at any time. I've got his contact information up there with his email as well as his phone number. And of course, if all else fails, you can always feel free to contact me at any time. I think you guys are going to have my contact information here really soon. But again, what we do in community planning, we're outside, we're out in the community. The key takeaway is we translate the community's voice to put into an actionable plan. And that's where we want to partner with you guys to make sure that what the community has envisioned for the area is also what you guys are building. And we're happy to partner with you in any way we can. So I hope that woke you guys up a little bit, and I'm going to turn it over to our IT guy who keeps all of us, with our computers running so we can talk to you guys, Jim Canister. Thank you so much. And don't make me come out here and get y'all to do jumping jacks. I'll do it.
Thank you, Tony. Again, I'm Jim Canestra, and our information management division is sort of the inverse of what Tony just described, in that we tend to work behind the scenes a little bit, providing the IT infrastructure, the data, and the tools and applications necessary to support the planning commission or planning activities throughout the county. The information management division is really composed of 4 different sections. The first section is the Network and Technology Services Group, and they really provide the IT infrastructure necessary for us within the planning department primarily. We also work and coordinate with the other departments within the commission at large. The second section is the research section, and the research section is a relatively recent section that was created a few years ago. And the focus of that section is to provide analysis relating to planning, socioeconomic, and demographic activities within the county. So we work closely with the Census Bureau, the Maryland State Data Center, and we look at a lot of planning-related data and produce reports that may be valuable to the community at large. For example, we relatively recently produced a townhouse report, an economic employment and conditions report. We're working on an office conditions report right now. So basically, these are documents that are available for use throughout the community to be able to understand from a broad perspective what conditions are happening and how they're affecting the community. The data system section is really our group that's responsible for developing the tools and applications for us to perform our functions. So we have applications relating to our document imaging system, our permit tracking, our development review system, and system of record or person of record application that some of you may have used to get interested, who are interested in specific cases. Now, the largest section within the division is the geographic information section. And I guess I was a little bit surprised that so few people raised their hand with respect to, are they familiar with PG Atlas? Can we do that again? How many folks are using PG Atlas? Much better, much better. And so within our GIS section, we have about 250 different layers. Many of those layers are available for viewing through our primary desktop application called PG Atlas. So we also offer training sessions for those of you that aren't familiar on how to use and operate PG Atlas. But basically, it's the primary resource for getting information on properties, addresses, development cases, environmental conditions, transportation improvements, et cetera, throughout the county. Now, in addition to PG Atlas, we also have an open data portal where about most of our data layers, the 200, 250 or so, are available for download. So a lot of engineering and consulting firms take our data and use that directly for their projects and applications. And then we also have a lot of single-use applications. For example, applications looking at the old zoning and the new zoning, applications looking at what development cases have occurred over certain timeframes and where they are, applications relating to certain census information and geography. So again, we have a lot of information. We try to provide most of it that we're able to available to the public via one of these applications or through our download site. We also take and get map requests for certain types of data needs that people have. We try to be responsive as we can in terms of supporting some of those requests from the development community as well as the public at large. So with that, that's the summary of the Information Management Division, and I'll turn it over to Alicia Alexander from our Management Services Group. Feel free to contact me if you have any information or needs on any of the activities I talked about.
Thank you so much, Jim. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm gonna start off by asking you, how many of you have been to this building before? Okay, isn't it beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Well, our management services team is responsible for in addition to IT, for getting us in this building. So we're really, really excited. We welcome you and hope to see you in many other events that we'll host. My name is Alicia Alexander, and I am the Chief of the Management Services Division. In that role, I oversee facilities with 3 sections: facilities management, which of course oversees and works with the Department of Parks and Recreation to oversee the management of this building, maintenance, etc., asset management, emergency management, except all things facilities. In addition to that, I oversee the publications and website management and office services, the beautiful publications that many of you had, the hard copies. Our office services team typically prints those. Our publications team typically edits those documentation. So we do quite a bit for the planning department. One of the things that I want to highlight in this particular forum is that we've recently launched our new and improved website. And Prince George's County, the planning department's website, pgplanning.org, and the Prince George's County Planning Board's website, which is pgplanningboard.org. And we work really, really hard to maintain that website, provide up-to-date information, and we want to make sure that it's user-friendly. And in addition to that, easy to navigate. And one of the things that I encourage you to do is to go to that website or those websites if you have not already done so. There's a plethora of information there, from staff contacts, our events calendar, which is very easy to access. And we're in the process of making and changing some of our menus to make them user-friendly for those individuals who are like me and do not have a planning background. You'd be able to quickly go and identify the information that you need and just click on it without, again, understanding the technical information behind it. So we're really, really excited about where we're moving on that front. Also, we're also responsible for, in my division, for posting on social media. We have a presence on every platform, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Nextdoor, on and on and on. So you will find our posts. We post regularly, even on weekends. So, you're out at the beach, you happen to see one of our posts, we have it scheduled. So just want to, that is my overall spiel in management services. We typically do not interact with the public like my colleague in IT. We're more behind the scenes. But again, I'm so happy to see you. We're happy to share our beautiful building with you for this hour. And, I'll be available for any questions. There's also one thing that I do want to point out. If you, are spending time navigating our website, we do have a link where you can make comments if you are interested in seeing improvements. We're certainly open to that, what we can do, getting information from you all to find out what we can do to make things more more user-friendly. And also, I want to point out that we want to ask you, I encourage you to sign up to receive regular our newsletters, our online messages, where you'll receive messages and alerts on everything related to the Prince George's County Planning Department. So again, we welcome you and thank you so much for spending your hour with us. And on that note, I will give the floor to Mr. James. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And so, that's an overview of over 200 employees within this planning department. And of course, we would not have great oversight of those employees without our great leadership, which here with us today, we have the planning board chairman, Mr. Peter Shapiro in the back. And in addition to that, I wanted to make sure everyone understood the point that within this 500 square mile jurisdiction, we also provide planning assistance and work for 27 municipalities. That is not anything easy to do, I will say that. But we provide that to them. We partner with them as a part of the 4 Ps. We partner with those municipalities to make sure that planning is covered within their municipalities and they understand, and we coordinate with their communities at the same time. So that said, I do also want to make sure you all have a copy of the contact information for all the management team here within the planning department. Go into any questions and answers that you all have. So we've got Josh. Josh has got the mic back there. So any questions that you all have, please feel free to raise your hand. He can come to you. Go from there.
Good morning, James. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mr. Howlett. How are you?
I'm well. Just one question, and that is, do you have a timetable for when you're going to allow us back into this beautiful building for in-person planning board hearings?
Ooh, you have a good question there.
Look at the time, I gotta go.
So I will say this, staff is working on that right now. We understand the importance of that. We're working through that. We're getting a timeline together and we will provide that information out pretty soon. However, at this point in time, we don't have all the details ironed out, but it's coming. We do see a lot of improvement going on in development when it comes to that. Because we realize that the development community wants to be in the building, want those in-person meetings as well. So we're trying to determine and get the means and the details and the logistics ironed out behind it. So we're working through that at this point in time. We haven't gotten there just yet, but it is coming very soon, very soon. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes?
Could I hijack?
Absolutely.
1 minute just to respond to that and maybe have a little dialogue around that? So what it's a process for us to get to that. Let me go front. It's a process for us to get to that point, but one option that we are considering, Madam Director, I apologize, is what do you all think, and I'm looking for feedback. If we could start in person earlier, probably, if we started at PRA, our building on Kenilworth. It's going to take longer to just start up here. What do you think? Does it matter? Feedback, thoughts, reactions?
I'd rather do it here and wait.
So if we wait to do it here, then we're probably looking at early in the new year, probably.
Second quarter.
Maybe second quarter of the new year. We could start at the PRA sooner, but then it's disjointed is my concern. So, I heard one vote for it's okay to wait. Other thoughts, reactions?
I don't care where you have it, I'd rather it start in person sooner.
Okay. Sooner in person, maybe? Marva, thoughts, reactions? All right, it's 2-1. We're moving on. All right, no, it's good that there's diversity of opinion on this. We're trying to figure this out ourselves, but very much we're looking at starting a meeting in person as soon as we can pull it off. So, and let me just say, while I have the mic, I appreciate the leadership of the planning department and this as a, thank you. And this is a good example of the new direction that we're going. Focus on transparency, focus on accessibility, focus on continuous improvement in conversation, in dialogue. It's very much what this department is about. So I'm glad to be a small part of this process, and I'm looking forward to many more of these. So thank you all very much.
All right, any other questions that are out there? Yes, sir.
Hello, no, I just, want to take advantage of the opportunity to make a plug for an event coming from another regional planning organization, the Council of Governments. Many of you are familiar with Community Connections. September 23rd is Car Free Day 2024. Take the pledge. In the spirit of collaboration, we want Prince George's to be #1 in pledges for Car Free Day. So if you were planning on teleworking on the 23rd, go ahead and feel even better about it because you're contributing to the Car Free Day movement. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, any other comments or questions? Anything else, anyone?
Online, is
Oh.
anyone online?
Yes, anyone online? I should say. Feedback. Oh, yes, sorry.
Hey, James. Question, since we have Jim and others, which I usually don't get to see, any thoughts of having the approved certified plans available in either PG Atlas or any other tools that you guys can share with?
Yeah, those are some of the improvements we are looking at right now, trying to get them up and running. It's going to take some time on that because it's access issues and things like that. So I know Jim's been working through that with his team. Also trying to figure out what all can be out there. Also, that you got to remember at the same time, we do have quite a few plans that are pretty old. So we're having to triage a lot of those plans to make sure that we're not putting a lot of information out there that cannot be public, right? So we have staff having to kind of go through all those various documents and files to make sure that we are compliant with the Maryland Public Information Act, as well as all of the files and the legal aspects of the laws. But yes, you're right. We're trying to get a lot of that out there. We realize that once we get a lot of this information out there, that the development community won't have to put in MPIA requests as much, right? You don't want to do that. It takes a while. We realize that, but that's a process we have in place. We're going to work through that to try to get as much documents online as possible. So another plug for our planning department page there. We're continuing to make improvements to that page. Please, please, please go there, get any, as far as there's a lot of information there, reach out to staff, utilize that page, continue to look out for any updates that we have there as well. So because we're constantly making updates to that site. All right, anything else?
So before we get to the end of the session, I did want to acknowledge that we do partner with multiple agencies. And so I know a lot of times you guys feel like there's a lot of bureaucratic process that we have. And so our leaders, they also help to triage a lot of that. And so James mentioned the cities that we work with. So we're actually going to have an open house to all of the directors that represent those cities coming up in a couple weeks. It's going to be an invitation only, so you guys cannot come. But our job is also to make sure they have the resources at the local levels. We partner with the universities. And so we also have our leaders that's bringing in students. And so we didn't talk about that arm of our department as well. So we really want to make sure you guys understand that our department is open for business, we're open for collaboration. I just came back from the county council. We're over there all the time, as you guys know, working with legislation, working with our decision makers. And so we're super excited that you guys are able to see all the great leaders that keep this magic going, and the planning board chair as well. And so we're hoping that you guys enjoy the series over the next few months. I do see a hand that's raised in the back.
I wanted to, I know our chair said, commended. I wanted to also commend for these sessions. And I think it's so important for us to get the information. I know you were a big part of making this happen, Madam Planning Director, so I wanted to say thank you. Also, we have started to do work groups, and I hope that we will continue to do that. We have these industry meetings, and I can't tell you how much your names come up in those meetings. And I think we saw it in some of the legislation. I don't even want to say the word, CB, blah, blah, blah. But I think having had those work groups to discuss made that process smoother. Because we were, even if not on the same page, we were close in pages. So I thought it was good, and I hope that we can see more of those as well as these, because I think these are phenomenal. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much. So James, I'm going to turn it over to you. So I see a couple requests popping up in the chat. So I need you to come into the comment section and answer some of these questions for the folks that are here.
All right, so the first one we have coming up here, that someone, I guess Bianca Floyd, put a message in here. They want an update on the former boulevard at Capitol Center, and other than the hospital construction, she's been photographing it for 5 years. What's going on, basically? At this time, we don't have the details of it. We are still waiting on the applicant to kind of push forward. They have the entitlement approvals there. So we're looking forward to getting the information back from the from the developer, I should say, on the updates of that particular project itself. Okay. Also, I do have some requests for a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, so I appreciate that. We will send those out. Please, before you all leave today, and if you're online, make sure we have your email addresses so we can provide you a copy of this PowerPoint presentation, as well as a follow-up, because we want to send a survey out to you to see exactly what kinds of sessions you want to hear about, what you want to see here as a part of this program. Let's see, update on the old sanatorium on Glendale Road. I don't have that information. Does anyone have that? At the old hospital in Glendale? I don't have that, unfortunately.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, they may have that. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to sync up with Parks and Rec to get a response on that one for you. And we can send that out as a part of the email that goes out. Let's see here. I think that's pretty much all that I see.
James,
Yes.
there was one more
Okay.
in the chat. Who is responsible for the enforcement of the Chesapeake Bay critical area regulations?
Ooh, excellent. So who from my senior management team wants to raise their hand on that one? So, Katina Shoulders, it's actually within the countywide planning division. We do review those applications as they come through. So between the countywide plan, you just stand there, it's fine, you're good. So it would be the countywide planning division. Also within the within development review, those applications do come up. We forward that information on to the various referral agencies and staff members as well. So that is a part of the process. All right. Any other questions that I might have missed, Lisa? Maybe? Oh, I'm sorry.
Just to clarify, though, enforcement is the responsibility of the county. The enforcement.
Yes. Clarify. That's a great point. One of the questions we get a lot of times here within the planning department is who's enforcing this stuff, these regulations. A lot of that is within other agencies, i.e. predominantly we find that within the Department of Permitting, Inspections, and Enforcement. That's why when we were talking about earlier, we are a partner agency with them. When we get information, we coordinate with them on various matters when it comes to transportation, development projects, all the way around. We are very close-knit, so on both sides, we work through these development application questions as they come through. So I want to clarify that as well. Anyone else? All right, that said, thank you all. I cannot tell you how appreciative I am that you all came out here today. We're all grateful for that. I strongly encourage you, please provide your contact information so we can stay in touch. I know we're always out with NBIA, we're always out in the community. If there's something else that you all find that we need to do, if we need to come to reach out to your organization, your office, please let us know. We'll be happy to do it. All right? Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.